Good evening to you out there, and welcome to the Fumblegate YouTube channel. I'm Jason, as you know from following us throughout time in this project known as the Fumblegate podcast. If you don't know us, this is normally a sports talk show. We normally talk football, American football, for any international viewers. And I normally have a partner with me who is a former Cincinnati Bengals. Name's Adam Kieft. He's not here with me today. I kind of decided to do this kind of off the cuff because I know for those people who have been watching us over time, some people have been asking, what happened to, where'd you guys go? We did the same thing last year after the Super Bowl. We took some time off. The main reason being last year is that I became a father last year over the hiatus. Last March I became a father, and so that was the reason last year. This year it was just more of a things winding down after the Super Bowl had concluded, and so with that. We decided to take a little bit of a break, and now that the NFL draft's coming up, we've decided to come back. During the hiatus, it's really nothing special has been going on. No specific reason for the break. It's just life happens. I've got a now 1-year-old daughter, and Adam Kieft, who is normally here with me. He has 3 small children, and obviously they need to be taken care of as well. So just kind of a break to recharge the batteries and kind of catch our sea legs and catch our breath because obviously, as anybody knows, the football season is a grind. Want to let you also know, for those that have been following us over time, when we offered this show through a podcast form or through the last football season, we did all of our live streaming shows like this on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Fumblegate. Adam and I have been discussing this, and we think going forward, and actually I believe we know going forward, that this is going to be our home moving forward for the program. The reason being, we feel it is a better opportunity to reach a wider audience, to listen to what we have to say about, like I said, mainly football, because he is a former NFL player. I myself, I'm a sports broadcaster. If you don't know my name, I certainly can understand that. I'm definitely no Jim Nantz or Joe Buck, if you want to go that route or what have you. I'm a sports broadcaster focused primarily on college football and basketball in Kentucky and a little bit in Cincinnati. We're based in the Cincinnati area, Cincinnati, Ohio. If you're just now kind of coming on to us, or if you came on to us late in the 2018 football season, we're located in the Cincinnati area. So if you hear us talk about the Cincinnati Bengals a little bit more than some of the other teams, we don't try to do that, but sometimes it kind of reverts back to that because Adam has and always offers wonderful insights as far as the inner workings of the NFL, and he has a very good perspective of that because he spent multiple years in an NFL locker room. And it's always fun to get his thoughts on that as well. If you have a question about anything, really jump in the chat. It is available for folks for you to check out, and also give us a subscribe here on the channel. Hit the little ring button as well, the little bell icon. It notifies you when we are live. Again, for those that have followed us on Facebook over the last year or so, when we've been doing the live shows live on Facebook, same kind of thing is going to happen. We're just moving to YouTube. Again, we feel it's a better opportunity to reach a wider audience. And, one of the goals when we started this program was to, have it reach as many people as we possibly could. And we have found as we've gone through on Facebook, for whatever reason, things keep working against us in that favor. So we're opening ourselves up to a new platform. We'll still have all kinds of material posted on Facebook, also on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, give us a follow on there. Follow the show at Fumblegate. The information is actually going to be scrolling right at the bottom of your screen right now, and where you can follow us there. Follow the show at Fumblegate. Follow me, my personal account at Jason Griefer. You can follow former Cincinnati Bengal Adam Kieft. You can follow him at Fumblegate Fatty. And again, the spelling's right across the bottom of your screen. So we've traditionally given the show to you in a weekly format, usually every Wednesday or Thursday, and we try to go about an hour. Sometimes we go a little bit longer, in about 90 minutes time. We're still going to try and do that. We're going to try and bump up the output as well. That may include some shows where it's just myself doing the show. Maybe it's just Adam Kieft doing the show solo, and to give you more material. I know from some of our fans out there, and then we greatly appreciate our fans who have been with us from the start, from a couple of years ago, as we head into, I guess it would be season number 3 of Fumblegate, that they want more. And we're trying to give you more. Again, it's difficult for both of us. It's not easy. I'm sure some of you folks there can understand when you have small children. Obviously, it's difficult to try and free up as much time. And so I think that is why going forward, you're going to see the occasional show where, like I said, it's just myself on, or it's just Adam Kieft going on. And those shows probably will not consist of a 60 or 90 minute length. Probably will be closer to a 30-minute length, because we understand, obviously, that's a lot of time to fill. We always love the interaction. We loved it on our Facebook page. We still love it on the Facebook page, but in particular with the live videos, we do love the interaction. So if you want to chat, drop a line in the chat. We try to interact and engage with those comments as much as we can, on top of the material that we always like to provide you for your entertainment every week. So you folks know, I know some people like to take the podcast form. Those archives from previous episodes are still available on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, and Stitcher. Want to have you just search Fumblegate Podcast. You can listen to a bunch of the old episodes on there. Want to let you know that YouTube is a different platform, obviously, with that, but you can Bluetooth YouTube into your car. I know we've had folks that have said, I'd like to take you guys on the road with me, for traveling for work or business or pleasure, whatever the case may be. I want to take you guys on the road with me. Well, you can actually Bluetooth any YouTube stream through your car stereo system, assuming you've got a newer car that has Bluetooth capabilities, of course. But you can do that. And I do it all the time, in fact, to play a particular song for my daughter when I'm transporting her to A to B, especially at nighttime when I'm trying to get her to go to sleep. And so that is available to you as well. So you can take us with you, even though it's not in podcast form, and I still may take these programs here on YouTube and put those in audio form. We've done condensed forms of it in the past, taken the 90-minute show, 75, 60-minute show, and kind of cut it down a little bit so you get kind of more the meat of the show, the highlights of the show, and take it with you. So we may still do that. Again, you can always find some of our older episodes and through the various incarnations of the program, when we had started off with 3 guys, then to 4, down to 3, now we're at 2. Speaking of one of those guys that started this project with us, who was known as the officer on the program because he is a police officer and he does some work that we did not want to divulge his identity on for many, many reasons. He's no longer with the show on a full-time basis. We still keep in good contact with him. A lot of his police duties kind of taken him away from the commitments to the show, and certainly we understand that, and we thank the officer for his service to the community. He has actually gone off and started his own YouTube channel, and it's not about football, not sports. He's not a competitor to us in any way, shape, or form. He has actually started a YouTube channel to get his wife to become a connoisseur of whiskey. I don't know a better way to put it. The program is called, and I'll give you guys a free plug here. The program is called I Whiskey, She Wines. You can search for that on YouTube. And wines is spelled Wines because she, Mrs. Officer, is a wine drinker. She likes wine. But the purpose of the program, he likes whiskey, the officer does, on his off time, of course, to get his wife to become a whiskey drinker. And they've got a bunch of videos up already. They've had viewers from all over the world. And I certainly encourage you, if you want to learn about whiskey, if you're a newcomer to it, or maybe you just already like the stuff and you want to try some new stuff out there. He always has some good recommendations, and it's a lot of fun. Especially some of the early videos when his wife just began to drink whiskey because she is not a fan, and some of the reactions to the stuff she tries is quite enjoyable. And so I encourage you to go check that out. I Whiskey, She Wines on YouTube. They upload videos a couple times a week. And they're on all the social media platforms as well, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can give them a follow on all those and check them out. So that's kind of where we're at as far as this program goes and what we want to do and what we want to provide to you. Again, just to reiterate, Adam and I have discussed this for a while, really kind of after we wrapped up the Super Bowl a couple of months ago, about what we can do to get better and what we can do to make things better for you, because you're obviously a big part of this wherever you may be watching or listening to us on a weekly basis. And so the big thing with that is, for everybody that follows us on Facebook every week, we do ask that you come with us over to YouTube. Again, we're still going to have all the kinds of posts on Facebook and things like that. We're just no longer going to do our full-on broadcasts on Facebook. Again, we believe the YouTube platform gives us the opportunity to further expand our audience, and therefore give you more opportunities to interact with and chat with people that haven't been regular followers of us to this point. And we certainly hope that this move to YouTube, and we believe it will give us the opportunity to get more people involved. This is not, and never was, intended to be a program where we try to drill you with, we're on here and you're not, so we know more than you. It's never been what it's about. We try to just make it kind of just a chat about football, and obviously you get into some discussions back and forth, sometimes heated, although Adam and I are pretty even-keeled. We don't have it very often. We do get fired up about a few things. If you know us from our history, Adam Keefe has quite the hatred, it's the best word I can come up with, for kickers. And we always have a weekly award for the worst kicker in football, whether it be professionally or the collegiate level. Try to stay away from the high schoolers. Granted, that stuff doesn't get really reported on a lot often, so it makes it a lot harder to find. But we have had kickers of the week from the NFL, of course. We've had from every single level of college football. NCAA, Division I, Division II, Division III, and NAIA football. We've had kickers really, really gaff some stuff up. We have a really sweet trophy that we have that's always on our set. Right now, I'm actually broadcasting from my home, which is why it's a little more barren, and the main reason is because this is kind of impromptu. I just kind of thought about doing this as the day went along. Do have a pretty sweet Ninja Turtles piece of art back there on the wall over my right shoulder. My wife and I visited a local shop some time ago, and she saw that and was like, I'm going to buy that. I'm going to buy it for you, and we're going to put it on the wall in our basement. So there you go. Pretty sweet, actually, and I'll probably give you a close-up of that on our social media platforms at some point, so you can get a closer look at it. Don't know who the artist is. That's a shame. I would give him a credit because I can't remember who it is off the top of my head there, and so Oh well, what are you gonna do? So we know the draft is a week from today. Actually, it'll already be going on right now. The first round maybe halfway over at this point. 7 days from now, who knows? Depending on how long teams take. And obviously, the scuttlebutt is will the Quaff Bro, Cliff Kingsbury, and I say Quaff because the Quaff Bro because he's just the hair is just always perfect, and he just has that look of a bro. Will he take Kyler Murray overall with the overall number one pick now that he's the head coach in Arizona? Obviously, up for debate. If you have followed us on Fumblegate, you know that both Adam and I have said explicitly that Kyler should have gone the baseball route. I know Adam especially was very adamant about that, no pun intended, because he's been through the rigors of football collegiately, professionally. He knows how much of a toll it takes on the body. And obviously, Murray being a much smaller guy, Adam Kieft, when he played, he was an offensive tackle. So compare that to Kyler Murray, who's 5'10", as great of an athlete as he is. He has his work cut out for him. Make no mistake about it. So will he take him? We'll see. We will have here on Fumblegate, our NFL draft preview is coming up, and we will have it obviously before things kick off next Thursday evening. We're still trying to nail down the best day to do that for you here on YouTube. But once we get that nailed down, we will have that for you on all of our social media platforms so that you'll know when to look out for us. And again, the best way to look out for us is to hit the little subscribe button, hit the little ding-a-ling-a-ling. It's late, I can't talk right. And what that'll do, along with subscribing, is it will give you a notification on your mobile device that we are going live, or we are live, and that way you can go ahead and tune right in wherever you may be watching or listening from, anywhere in the world. So there you go. So again, I don't want to get too far into the NFL draft talk, because again, Adam will be here, and we'll likely do what we did last year, which is give you our mock draft, and we'll probably just do the first 10 picks because it's a long way to go to do 1 through 32. And we'll probably just do the top 10 like we did last season right ahead of the draft. And if you go back and check out that broadcast on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Fumblegate, some of the draft picks we had on there as far as mock where we thought guys would go was right on the money. Obviously things change with trades and what have you, so that kind of throws a monkey wrench into everything, which is obviously the fun of it when you hear and see all these mock drafts that trades are very rarely factored in because nobody can anticipate the trade. The picks are what they are. As it stands right now, your top 10 draft picks: Arizona, San Francisco, the New York Jets, Oakland, Tampa Bay, New York Giants. Will they draft Eli's replacement? Please let him draft Eli's replacement. Jacksonville, Detroit, Buffalo, and Denver is your top 10. Cincinnati, number 11. I sarcastically say there, please draft Eli's replacement, because I am on record as saying that, number one, everything is Eli Manning's fault. Hashtag Eli's fault. I think he's one of the most overrated quarterbacks in NFL history. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame for the only reason that is because he has 2 rings. You get multiple Super Bowl rings. By and large, if you're a quarterback, you're in Canton. Does he deserve to be? I don't think so. If he goes in, he'll be, and this is a very weird thing to say, he'll be among the worst quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. Again, it's weird to say that because you have obviously a debate as far as, and I don't know that it'll ever be fully settled as far as who's the greatest quarterback of all time. As a lot of people believe he's still playing right now in New England. By the way, go follow Tom Brady on Twitter. He's just joined Twitter, and he tweets out some funny stuff from time to time as he's trying to figure that out. But I will say that he's going to go in the Hall of Fame, Eli Manning. When he does, he will probably be right there with Joe Namath as two of the worst quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. And there may be some people out there that don't like that, me saying that about Joe Namath, but what did he won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl. He won Super Bowl III. It was obviously a big upset because everybody thought the Colts would run roughshod over the Jets, and the Jets won the game. But he's famous for shooting his mouth off. We're going to win the game, I guarantee it. Won the game. What did he really do after that? What did he really do before that? That's my thing. But because he went and shot his mouth off, and he played in the New York market and kind of became that flashy playboy type in the late 60s and in the early 70s, that garnered the attention and I think built him up on a much higher pedestal than he should be, and it got him into Canton. Look, it got him into Canton, so obviously people who vote at that time felt he was worthy of the honor. Okay, you can't take the guy out of the Hall of Fame, but sorry, for my money, he right now might be the worst quarterback in the Hall of Fame. And when Eli Manning gets there, he'll be with him. You could probably give Eli the edge there, really, because Eli has 2 rings. Joe Namath has 1. And everybody knows the thing with Eli Manning started right when he came into the league in 2004, and I don't want to go to San Diego. Daddy, I don't want to go to San Diego. So, Daddy, tell San Diego I don't want to go there. And there you go. And on top of the fact that it just, you look at the numbers that Eli puts up year in, year out. He's never among the league leaders in touchdowns. He's usually middle of the pack there. He's usually close to the lead or somewhere in the top third as far as interceptions every year. But he's won 2 rings playing in New York, New Jersey, as everyone knows, the New Jersey Giants and the New Jersey Jets. And so, based on that, you're getting in the Hall of Fame. So, are we going to have that this year? Will somebody pull in Eli Manning and say, I don't want to go to that team? There's been absolutely no rumblings of that. And again, what good is it going to do you to go that route anyway? Because that year he was pretty much the shoo-in number 1 pick. This day and age, you just don't see guys doing that because it's just bad business. It was back then, but it is now. And obviously in the age of social media, you're going to take a lot more fire for such things. I can only imagine somebody trying to pull the Manning power play now or having social media back around in 2004. And when I say social media in 2004, I mean what it is today, not, Friendster and AOL Instant Messenger, because where are those today? Gone. So, I don't know. Will anybody try it? I'd hope not. One thing you should do, and you should try, though, is try hitting that subscribe button. So that way you're hooked in with every video that we do going forward. Hit the little bell so that you're notified on your mobile device when we go live. That way you can join right away and chat right away. And be involved. Again, we love the interaction. We always enjoy talking to folks on the program, myself and Adam Kieft. And again, the next show that we do, and again, we're still trying to figure that out, Adam and I will be back together at our usual set. and we will get you set for the NFL draft. We'll probably touch a little bit on some of the things that have happened during our hiatus for the last basically 2 months. And maybe talk about the NFL schedule a little bit. Are the Cleveland Browns for real? Boy, the officer would just be spinning right now if we were having that discussion. Go back and look at some of our old videos here, right here on YouTube. And that's something else we've done too. Some of our Facebook broadcasts we do have it here on YouTube, so you can go back and watch some of those and see what we're talking about as far as the officer's affinity for the city of Cleveland and their football franchise. But right now, they're seemingly on paper in the catbird seat in the AFC North because, the Bengals have a new regime, and then the NFL decided to reward them with 4 of their first 6 games on the road, including Week 1 at Seattle. It's another thing I don't understand why the Cincinnati Bengals have had to start 8 of the last 9 years on the road. And then you have a team this year in the New York Jets who don't travel any further west than Cincinnati. Cincinnati is as far as the Jets travel westward in the United States. They play every single game in the Eastern time zone, and somebody said today like 13 of their games are north and east of Baltimore. I mean, obviously, you got to go down to Miami. They said they're going to come to Cincinnati to play. But how does that happen? I understand that, you have to go to New England and you have to go to Buffalo because they're in your division. And I understand sometimes the schedule works out like that. It's just, it's just so bizarre that a New York team gets the break like that and gets every single home game in the Eastern time zone, and they don't have to travel any further than Cincinnati. I saw the stat that they have to travel like 6,500 miles all season long. And then you have a team, and it's not a totally fair comparison. I get it. You have a team in the Oakland Raiders who has to travel something like 35,000 miles this season. And I know, and one of the things you have to put in there as an asterisk is one of Oakland's games is in London. And so that obviously is a huge ton of mileage, but it's just very bizarre how that seems to benefit the teams around the New York area. But again, no East Coast bias, I'm sure. I'm sure Roger Goodell, doesn't think about those types of things. So with that, I think we will. I think we're about ready to wrap it up here and call it a night. I want to thank those of you who have watched here. I know this is kind of an impromptu thing, so it kind of came out of nowhere. But again, as we close this out here, we are going to continue to do our broadcasts from this point forward right here on our YouTube channel. So again, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell so that you're notified. You receive a notification instantly as far as when we're live. You don't have to necessarily set an alarm or look for a clock to find out, oh gosh, the guys are going live in 10 minutes. The guys are live right now. Uh-oh, I got to join in. Well, if you hit the little bell, you're notified right away. And as soon as we go live, the instant we go live, you are notified of when we go live, and you can join the chat and join the show right away. So, again, everything now, broadcast-wise, will be moving to YouTube. We are still active on Facebook, facebook.com/Fumblegate. Follow us on Twitter, scrolling at the bottom of the screen, at Fumblegate is the show. Myself, my personal account, at Jason Griefer. I tweet about a lot of things, football, non-football. University of Kentucky, I'm an alum, so you'll probably see some BBN tweets on there. I tweet about wrestling. Yeah, I'm in my mid-30s, and I watch pro wrestling still. What of it? So what? You want to fight about it? My wife likes it too. That's how I knew she was the one. We're getting our daughter into it as well. She has a title belt. What of it? And then also make sure you follow Adam Kieft at Fumblegate Fatty on Twitter. He usually has some fun stuff going on there as well. He's a Central Michigan alumni, so you're probably going to see some hashtag Fire Up Chips tweets from Mr. Kieft, especially as the football season goes along. Obviously, he's a Central Michigan alumni, and so you'll see a lot of those coming from him. So again, BBN, Fire Up Chips, they just played each other this past season. My boys won. He was there for that game, and got to see it in person. Lucky him. I didn't get to make it down there. So, with that, I think we're going to go ahead and call it a night here on the Fumblegate YouTube channel. Again, consider this kind of the relaunch of the show and a relaunch of the YouTube channel. Again, it's been here. We're just trying to do something more with it. And again, I can promise you as we go forward through the summer, even though football is kind of quiet during the summer, we're still going to give you content. There may be some days that we don't necessarily always focus on football, and we may talk about, maybe get into baseball. We may talk about things that aren't necessarily sports related. There's nothing wrong with that. Both of us being fathers of young children, I'm sure that may come up at some point. If you're a parent out there and you have a young child, you can relate to what we're talking about. Come chat with us about that. Tell us about your child's happenings. Spare us any gross stories. I'm sure we can relate, but spare us any of those. So with that, I'm actually going to wrap it up. I know I've been rambling here for the last few number of minutes, but want to thank you for joining us here on YouTube. And again, welcome for those of you who are catching on now to us. And we hope you stay with us. Again, hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell so that you're notified of when we go live. We'd really appreciate that. And it gets more attention on us. Again, this is something that we like to do we do this because we enjoy it. This is not a monetary thing for us. At some point, things never know. You never know. And so we enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to sit around with a buddy and talk football. And so we thought we've enjoyed doing it privately amongst us, myself, Adam, and our friends, which is kind of what led to the whole creation of this. And we like that just person-to-person interaction. And that's why we do it, because it's fun. So, again, more content is coming here on YouTube. More shows will be coming on YouTube. And we will next join you sometime within the next few days to get you set up for the NFL draft. It'll be a full NFL draft preview. And we'll give you our mock top 10 picks. And we certainly hope you can join us for that. Once we nail it down, we will put it on all of our social media channels, on the Facebook and the Twitter. We're not on Instagram. Neither one of us are really big photo takers, so not on the Instagram. But again, Facebook.com/Fumblegate. And we'll go ahead and put the graphic up there for you so that you can see it. Right here is where you can follow it all. Facebook.com/Fumblegate. Twitter.com/Fumblegate for the show. Follow Adam at Fumblegate Fatty. The officer still has a Twitter account at FGP Cop. Make sure to follow their program as well. He and Mrs. Officer at I Whiskey She Wines. And they get you some fun content on there. And also, I know Adam's going to join that show at some point as a guest on there. I may pop up on there as well. Again, we always love that stuff. So again, Facebook.com/Fumblegate. At Fumblegate on Twitter. At Jason Griefer on Twitter. At Fumblegate Fatty on Twitter. And again, one final time before I sign off here, this is our new home for our broadcasts on our YouTube channel. Subscribe. Give us a like. Hit the little bell so that you're notified. And we will next see you for our 2019 NFL Draft preview. And with that, thank you so much for joining us here on the Fumblegate YouTube channel.